This is what, episode 9?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
It is 9.
Episode 9.
Yeah, because we had
Welcome to Metal and Mash this morning.
Yeah.
Episode 9.
episode 9.
And today's episode is a recap of the Chaos and Carnage tour.
Chaos and Carnage tour was fucking what it said it was.
Yeah,
it
no
was
doubt. I guarantee it.
Chaos and Carnage. Dude, the whole show was great. The audience was great. The merch was great. 7 bands, man. Talk about and they had to keep you engaged for you to be able to stand there that long. I mean, doors open at 4. The first, I mean, they hit that first note at 4:30, like they said. And Face Yourself was first. Kind of a newer deathcore band. They're based out of New York, but their members are all over. And actually, their lead singer wasn't even there. It's female lead singer. They call her the Will Ramos of female vocalists.
So she was not there?
She was not there. So they had different stand-ins the whole time. I do not know, honestly, who was there in Columbus. I do know that on the West Coast, though, Ben Dewar from Enterprise Earth was their Shadow Intent. He's the lead singer of Shadow Intent, who stepped in, which is a pretty freaking big deal.
Oh, that is cool.
So, but they started it off. They did amazing. Then Vitriol was second, which, I mean, we've both seen them, and they nailed it. And people who came later were really mad.
Was their set
that
cut like a shorter?
I mean,
set?
it was like 25, 30 minutes. It was quick. It was definitely shorter than the first time. They definitely played it, but they're coming back and playing with Goatwhore, which they're, I think, headlining that show, which is great because I think they're going to really play a lot off of that new album. Third set was Zenith Passage, and dude, they frigging nailed it. And they played the Lex Contagion song, and they definitely, I mean, they rocked it out, and I think people were really surprised. And by that time, you started to see a lot of people filtering in. Fourth band was Humanity's Last Breath, which, in my opinion, they were good. They were very doomy deathcore, which I typically really like, but they had a really offbeat cadence through a lot of their stuff, which is how they play. It was not my favorite, but when I read comments from people who've been to the show across the country, people who have been following them forever said that they are amazing. And they're from Europe, so they don't come to U.S. very often. So, I mean, having the opportunity to see them, I was really grateful, and they did play a great set.
I didn't realize they were a European band.
Yeah, but they've been around for quite a while. So they played a good set, but out of the 7, they were my least favorite, which is what it is, but they still rocked it out. I mean, I definitely give them props. Then it really started. I mean, for me,
that would be Carnifex or Rivers and Ill.
Rivers and Ill, man, they played, and holy shit,
Place go nuts.
That's when the pretty much the nonstop pit started. So the last 3 bands, the pit was off the hook, and there was one dude in there who was probably 5'9" and about as wide, but he wasn't fat, and he just stomped the shit out of everybody. People were bouncing off of him, and it was cool because, you know, he'd go over and pick people up. I mean, it was a really good thing to watch. Really good aggression but compassion mix. It was cool. After Rivers was Carnifex, and I mean, they work the crowd. They weren't who I was there to see, but I'm glad I saw them, and they friggin' got people engaged. They could have headlined the show for sure. And then Caldecap, I mean, they were frigging stellar. And
did the guy use the Bean guitar?
It was a weird looking guitar. It wasn't that Bean one, but it was definitely it definitely wasn't your standard fair guitar, what you'd see. But I mean, they were alive, and you could definitely tell. I mean, you're the 7th band. People have been standing there for 7 hours. You've got to bring game.
You got to bring it in order to wake them back up.
And they did it. I was really impressed. I was super
Especially
pleased.
At such a high energy fucking.
Oh yeah, because people were sweating. I mean, if you could have captured the essence of swass that was permeating that place towards the end of the show, it was something that you wanted to run away from. Luckily, they played "Raining Men" over the stereo as it was clearing out, and that definitely forced people to leave a little faster than I was expecting.
Well, it's funny that you know whenever we talk about bands and like their running order on their live shows, I know when I used to play music live, I always hated being either the show opener or the headliner, because there's such pressure on both ends.
Oh yeah.
I always like that sweet spot. If there were 3 bands, I wanted to be in the middle. You know what I mean? If there's 5, put me at like 3 or 4.
Sure.
And because to be the headliner, you know, you're number one, you're expected to draw the most people.
Sure.
And you're also expected to keep everybody's attention at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know? When you play in bars anyway. And then if you're the show's opener, nobody's there to see you.
Right.
So you get no respect and nobody's engaged.
Yeah.
So, and you got to try to win them over. And that one is, I would say, more fun than the latter. But
okay, interesting viewpoint.
Yeah, I would definitely try to 10 to 1 try to win somebody over to my music rather than try to wake them back up after 7 bands that just pummeled them to death.
Right, and it was a pummeling, and it didn't let up.
Yeah.
I mean, every single one of them were hard, were heavy, and I would say, because that Morbid Angel show we went to had a stacked lineup as far as heavy, but 7 bands that are all that hard.
Yeah.
That is probably the heaviest show I've ever been
and
to.
you got to think too, like how much weight does a band name carry? If that's Morbid Angel we're talking about,
right?
Everybody's there to see them.
Everybody was there to
Doesn't
see
matter.
them. No,
You know,
but they did have a great lineup.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
even
of course.
Crypta right at the beginning, who
Sweet.
I mean, they really tore it up, especially being an all-female band.
Yeah, man.
I mean, so, a great show. I'm really glad that I went. Missed you.
Yeah,
For
no
sure.
doubt, man.
For sure.
I bitched out.
No, you didn't. I mean, life is a 4-letter word, and sometimes we have to tend to it.
Yeah.
We have to tend to it. Life and time, dude.
Indeed. But we'll get on the next one. So I've lined up a few songs today, but let us know what we're going to drink here.
So what we're drinking is, and I thought that this was appropriate. So the last time we had Redwood Empire Lost Monarch. This is Redwood Empire Lost Monarch cask strength. So we went from 90 proof to 117.2 proof.
Oh, and you can tell.
So what I figured was my matching, my pairing
Spicy.
is that show should never be watered down.
Oh, okay.
And this one
And I'm watering
is
it down with
full
ice.
strength. And that was how I figured it'd be a great tie-in. Actually,
is.
to just randomly find that one the other day, as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, that's
great
going in
color.
the shopping cart. It is a great color. And it's 55% rye, 45% high rye bourbon. Minimum 3 years age statement. Some of them they said on the website were up to 14 years, which that would be sourced, but the 3 years, 3 to 4 year product is theirs. And
There's a slight sweetness on the back end that I really enjoy about it.
but it's definitely more. Actually, I didn't blind them, but I did a comparison Thursday where I took the regular one first. Obviously, don't start high proof first. And you can definitely tell the flavor profile is the same, but this is just like, it's just beefing it up.
Yeah.
It's like you took a film off your tongue and you're getting all of it.
It's cool.
It's great mix. But yeah, the show is good. This whiskey's good. Companionship is good.
Yeah, no
so
doubt.
let's listen to what you got.
So what we're going to do first is I thought we would. I just picked some random songs by a couple of the bands that we didn't cover on the beginning, and then I got to my two, I guess possibly my two favorite bands that were on the show.
Awesome, I love it.
Vitriol and Zenith Passage. So let's go first with a song called "Death Reflection" by Face Yourself.
Yes,
I don't know if you
I think they played that one actually.
heard that.
Yes.
There. And so the way that I sort of chose the song was I turned it on for like 5 seconds, and whatever I heard at the beginning was, okay, I'll take it.
Okay, fair enough.
And so I heard that. That's cool.
Yeah, but you can tell it's a female singer. But I mean,
I like it. I don't mind that.
yeah, I think it's great.
They have an inherent black metal type sound.
Yeah. Well, and I can't remember her name's like Yasmin or something like that. It's definitely European. I don't know where she's from, if she's from America, but she's definitely got roots not here.
Maybe like Ukrainian or something.
Possibly.
You got to be European as a girl to be into extreme metal.
I don't know. Crypto was all Brazilians.
Yeah, I guess so. but you don't, at least somewhere not American.
Right.
And I know that that's a generalization. I'm just teasing, but I mean.
Yeah, the girls from Kitty would be mad.
Yeah. And it's funny because I don't know her personally, but I know the drummer from Kitty's husband.
Oh.
We've done shows together.
Sure.
It's wild, man. So they've got some guitar work.
They do. They did. I mean, they managed that stage really well, especially considering, 1/5 of the overall audience population was there.
Yeah. Slam them.
Yeah. I like how she kind of clears her throat there. Yeah.
That's really low tuned.
I was really happy to see them.
It's a cool riff right there. So sort of like a riff at the beginning of a solo, and just leads into the little lick.
Right.
That does sound like Lil Ramos.
Yeah. Which I would like to do something by them at some point.
Oh, yeah.
They're touring with Whitechapel coming up. Back to the breakdown.
Yep. It's a curb stomp.
Yeah. I know that you still you're okay with pulling those out every once in a while, as long as it's not the whole playlist.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, something like this is refreshing on a playlist to just kind of kick it up just a little bit, just to kind of break up a little monotony or something, Okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing I put on here was a song called Death Spiral.
Oh, Humanity's Last Breath. Yeah, it's a pretty good song. They did. And they actually had great merch. They had some pretty good shit. I got one of their shirts.
That sounds pretty cool.
But it seems like everything is like half a note off of each other, but they end up making it work. Like the bass and the drum are like, it's just like this weird step away from each other, but it blends.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's interesting.
But the drum is, he was just really slow and methodical the whole time.
Yeah.
And the dude, the lead singer, came out all cloaked. His hair's down to like his hips, and just never really saw his face. But dark, doomy.
What was the crowd like during this?
They were all sitting there almost like in this trance.
Okay.
There was not a...
it does seem a little bit trancey.
The mosh wasn't super big on this one because it was definitely more of this like weird hypnotic vibe.
Now, I will say this. I have never heard this song or this band or the last song. I've not heard a single note of their music. I've heard the name, this name, not the other one.
Well, Face Yourself is pretty new. I think their first album, EP, was 2020, 2021. And these guys are back from like 2010. These guys have been around for a while.
Wow.
I think they have like 7 or 8 albums.
You're kidding. They just go by, man. The albums. There's so many metal bands.
So many. And if you are like a little bit more genre centric, and this isn't like your standard cup of tea, it's hard to find some of the more obscure or maybe not even obscure, just it's not your jam.
Yeah, there's a lot of obscurity in the thrash death metal world as well that I still stumble upon. I'm like, where are these guys?
Yeah, I'm glad I found you though.
It's heavy.
It is.
Yeah.
Even though they were not my favorite of the lineup, I would pay to go see him again.
There's another band that's out that's really popular right now that's like really trance-like that people are just obsessed with. Sleep Token.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard a few tracks of theirs. It's not my thing, really. It's not terrible. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
Right.
But
they have one song that I absolutely loved called Summoning. And everything else of theirs, I could, take
it or leave it.
If I was stuck in a Kohl's and that came on, I would be way more stoked to hear that than I would the other shit that they play.
For sure. I mean, that's exactly how I feel about it. 100% the same way. That's a cool riff, how it's like just kind of really stoppy-starty. It makes you wonder, like, what was... When I think about a riff like that, I wonder what the first incarnation of that riff was, and then they decided to kind of chop it up a little bit.
Right.
Or was it always choppy from the get-go?
Yeah. But this was their set. I mean, this is a lot of what it was. Which was cool, because it was different than practically everybody else.
Yeah. I got a friend that, he was a traveler that worked on our unit for a little bit. His name was Justin. He's a power lifter, like he does competitions and shit.
Sure.
So he listens to a lot of this kind of stuff, and he'll send me stuff like Slaughter to Prevail.
Right.
He's mentioned this band before, a couple others. But this is his kind of thing. He loves Spirit Box and shit.
Okay.
Which I love Spirit Box too.
Dude,
It's just a different...
She's got a great voice.
Yeah. She's something extra.
I mean... I can read into it. I mean, for just throwing a dart at a dartboard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you chose two great tracks. They were played at the show, and yeah, dude, good bands, great bands potentially, depending on your viewpoints.
Yeah, I didn't hate them at all. So these last two tracks that I chose, one from Vitriol and one from the Zenith Passage. Obviously, love Vitriol. But this is a song that I think it was either from their second to last album, so not the most recent, but the one before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one with the song "Parting of the Neck."
This is the song they played. This is the last song they played, and they called it out as being the one song that wasn't from their new album.
Well,
so
I'll say this: I didn't choose that because I've heard the "Parting of the Neck," and this particular track I don't know that I've heard unless they played it when we saw them live. Because I haven't listened to every single song they put out. Yeah. Just a disclaimer. But this song is called "Pain Will Define Their Death."
Another good one.
So we'll check this out. Death. I just realized death in all the first three songs. What's wrong with me? Here we go. I'm telling you, man. Killer.
Yeah. Kyle did a lot of crowd interaction. He was uniquely spoken. He seemed a little less possessed this time from the first time we saw him. But they would still just came out and instantaneous slaughter. It was great.
I've been seeing some of the new guitars that he has that he's been touring with. And there was one that's like a wood green color. Mm-hmm. Do you recognize?
Yeah.
Bring a bell. That's I think it's an old Ibanez Zyphos that he redid or had somebody redo for him. So he's been putting that on his Instagram a lot. It's really cool.
Well, I saw him, a couple of his techies go outside, and the refurbished, I say refurbished loosely, it looked like it could probably have taken a shit at any point, this old school bus that all their stuff was on. I don't know if it was every band, that's where they put all the merch, and every band was using it on the tour. I don't know, but I was definitely Vitriol's guys going out there, and we were standing in line waiting to get in. I looked at him, I was like, I don't think I get stuck behind that bus, because you just know the tire is going to fall off and fuck you up.
Yeah, we had an old shitty van like that. We called it the Silver Bullet or the Fart Box.
I mean, probably whether you were on the outside or the inside.
Yeah, and the inside of it had shit written all over it. And it's just a good time. Pictures drawn on it. We've even taken that van to go see shows and stuff just to have something silly to ride in. Did cooler surfing on top of it.
Oh yeah, love it.
Good times. I remember one time we took that van and we had our trailer hooked to the back of it with all our gear in it and pulled into. We were staying in a place. We were playing in Dayton, Ohio, and so we stayed the night at this place called the Drury Inn in Dayton, Ohio. and they thought we were something. So like, it was almost like they rolled out a red carpet for us. I'm like, did y'all see what we rolled up here?
Right.
But we did. I mean, we walked in with, we were like dressed like to slaughter. You know what I mean? Like we had just played a show. You know what I mean? Spirits were high, but like we were like, we're looking for a place to drink, and they opened a conference room for us.
Oh wow!
Now a couple of the guys went on to bed, but me and Vivar, my longtime friend, we stayed up for hours drinking this bottle of vodka, and like it was a conference room, legit, and there was a big whiteboard, and they left markers out.
That's a bad idea.
That whiteboard was covered in nonsense.
I bet. How many dicks were on there?
Oh man, we drew like Godzilla on there, and Jason, and airplanes coming, like dropping dick bombs on people. Like it was incredible. I have one picture of it somewhere, but I took it with at the time I had a Razor phone.
Oh yeah,
so
I remember.
That, and it's like super grainy. You can barely make it out.
Absolutely.
The evidence is there.
The evidence is there. Dude, that could be anything.
Yeah.
That's like getting some CCTV back from the 1980s. You're like, who is this? You're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an upright entity. That's all I know.
It was probably 2009 or 10 when we did that. We played this festival called Core Fest, and it was Core Fest 4. Shout out to Joe Brown. That's my guy.
Nice.
He put that show together and reached out to us. Was like, hey man, you guys got to come out here and play a show. So we did, and it was this big festival. And there was one other West Virginia band on there. They're called Our Malignant Beloved. And shout out to Jamie Asbury. He's a good dude, good friend of mine. We've actually had a couple collabs together. So it's fun.
Do they still play?
No, the drummer, Jamie writes his own music. Very talented guy. But the drummer now plays for Byzantine.
Okay.
I guess, I mean, if they wanted to, they could probably get together and do a one-off or something. But
Sure.
I don't know what that dynamic is. We actually blew a tire on the way home on that show, on our trailer. Oh,
Bunch of metal guys out on the side of the road trying to change a tire.
Yep.
So is that a joke? How many metal guys does it take to change a flat tire?
Well, apparently 2, because everybody else was getting stoned and drinking on the hill. Me and Derek was left to change the tire.
Well, I mean,
the man. Shout out to Derek.
Were you two stoned and drunk, but still capable? You don't have to answer that question.
I didn't get stoned at that time, but I probably was drinking.
Still capable of changing a tire.
Definitely, and we did it. That tire was fucking shredded, man. Kind of like this tune.
I was just gonna say, man, great lead in.
Oh, they just, dude,
it's
just doesn't disappoint.
Brutal.
Yeah,
the whole way through.
I don't understand. I still don't understand how they write music like this. It's just, I don't know where their brains are. Where are your brains? You know, like, what are you thinking of?
I mean,
what trauma are you suffering?
I was gonna say, I don't know them personally, so this is a joke, but I would say meth and anger would be a
I guess that could be a good
potential ingredient recipe for. But it's just, yeah.
This is nonstop, man.
I told the merch guy, who was the same merch guy when we were there last time, I said, dude, album of the year so far.
Yeah.
And he was just really grateful, and that's when I text you afterwards. And I said, we need to hand out cards, because I told him that we reviewed their new album on our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. So I think that would have been kind of fun to hand out just stupid cards.
No, we could totally do it.
I think he heading to shows
right there. All you got to do is do card stock.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just fun to hand out, you know. You know, some dumbass drinks a bunch of whiskey at those shows. They might really appreciate what we do.
Absolutely.
So then someone other than myself can make a comment in the comment section. Please comment on
comment of a comment. Please respond.
Right. It's basically I go in there and make sure that I've corrected all the stupidity that I've said, and I realize that's not a true statement. So it's better to fact check myself than have someone else do it later and be like, I'm a dumbass.
I'll get to this comment after we start this song. This song is the only one that doesn't have the word death in the title. The Zenith Passage. The Dissension Consensus.
I mean,
I thought that sounded incredible, and it's off the record prior to the one that was just released.
So Dissension isn't possibly too far off.
Yeah, definitely. But I thought it was an interesting title for an album, Solipsist. So we'll check this out.
dude, staccato again. They are just so clean.
Yeah, the clarity of their tone is insane.
And they did a great job live. I was enamored at how fast they were, and it stopped people in their tracks.
No doubt. I mean, if you like to watch instrumentalists, I feel like this would have been the one.
Yeah.
Check out. Dude, it's just like you said. There's no roar or like undermining undertones.
No.
It's just such clarity.
Yeah. And his voice sounds exactly like this live. But then when he talks, it's like an octave higher, real clear. It is very unique. You're like,
yeah. That's not
okay.
supposed to.
Just sing or scream. Just scream.
What were we talking about before this? I forgot.
What about death, dissension?
I forget what we were talking about. I was going to throw in a comment from something else, but I decided to play this song instead.
Oh, about the comment section.
Maybe.
Something about the comment section.
I don't know.
We'll have another drink.
Moving on. Oh, I know what it is now because you said drink. So I was talking to a friend about our podcasts a couple days ago, and I was telling him a little bit about it and how we shoot, a couple here and there. And I was telling him about how, like, the first show we do, it's, the first 15, 20 minutes of it are like coherent and like we're not saying anything stupid. And then the second one we record is like you can sort of tell we've been having whisper breaks.
I mean, it lowers inhibition. And you and I both, during our work week, have to have a little bit of a filter.
Yeah.
And so
definitely.
To hang out with a buddy, to do a couple things you really enjoy, and you lower some inhibition, then the filter drops.
Totally. He's been dealing with some allergies lately.
Oh, poor buddy.
I don't know what his deal is. Like the other day, we took him to the soccer practice, and he was sneezing the entire time. Must have been something in the grass. Or the goose shit he ate.
I mean, you'd think that would help stimulate his immune system, but... Oh, so you play duck, duck, goose shit, huh?
Said, don't talk about me, dude. So we're at the elevator lounge music shit again we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, their transitions work, and they played a few songs that did this. This may have actually been one of the songs that they played. And
they should. I mean, their talent level is insanity.
Yeah.
Like, so you want to show some of that off, even if it's the... I mean, that legato run is just insane.
Yeah. And it got the whole crowd to just sit there and bob and weave and then it's going to get a little
piano?
crazy.
That was piano.
And that's a
gnarly ass bass tone, too.
Yeah, so I spent 7 times the amount I did on the ticket on merch. I got a shirt from every band because I want to support them,
That's what I tell people when we go watch bands. They're like, yeah, you're going to buy that and pay for that stuff. I'm like, that's how these bands eat.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's not from the ticket
they're
sales.
Not making money on ticket sales. I mean, maybe a little, but like, Korg gets such a huge amount of
right,
it.
and not these standard bands.
Right.
Metallica, Trivia.
Yeah,
the people are selling out.
Like these bands like this is how they eat, selling their shirts.
Absolutely. And that's what they tell you when you're buying their stuff. And I'm going to stand in line and I'm going to go and support them.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. That's part of my concert budget now, which is different at this stage in my life versus when I was 18, 20, 24 years old, when you get to scrape money maybe to go to the concert.
Yeah, just to go to the show.
I wasn't spending $40 on a hoodie, but now I'm like, I'm going there. I'll drop $400 or $500 on gear because it's
cool, man.
It's it is. It supports them. That's how I feel like I'm contributing to their livelihood.
I mean, hell, we enjoy what they're creating. We might as well support
Absolutely.
them. God, I love that. I love a good chug.
Well, and their mix of doing that with a sharp note too is really profound. I've really fallen in love with those guys.
Yeah, they're a really, really fun band to listen to.
And so that band I sent you yesterday, The Last of Lucy, I thought that they
blew my mind.
They had a little bit of enough of that that sharpness to them that I was hoping that it might.
What was it? The last something of Lucy, or
It's just, I think it's called The Last of Lucy.
yeah, the last of Lucy.
And their album dropped, I think, yesterday, the most recent one. And they have 4 or 5 albums I saw. And I've only checked out the new one. But it's
may have to
definitely,
cover
it's
them
on my
a little
list.
bit.
It's on my list.
Yeah, that's a great one. When we get to that one, guys, you'll have to check it out. It's certainly brutal beatdown for sure. A lot like the Zenith Passage.
Archspire, to a degree,
Inspired, yeah.
which they're on my list if I can see them for sure.
Old
There,
Dean Lamb and his wife. Have you ever watched their show? Like their little
I've
podcast
seen a little bit of it, and yeah, they're
where he teaches his wife how to play his wrists and
Right.
stuff, and then he learned her wrists from her band as well.
sure. Because what does she play? What's her?
She's a guitar player too. I can't think of the name of her band, but I went and checked him out after he learned one of her wrists because he was like, "This is actually really complicated." You know, so,
Right. Dude, that's cool.
yeah, it is. It is really cool, and it's like their comedic value just between the two of them, just being husband and wife, is fantastic.
Right.
Go check out Dean and his wife, and check out more Metal and Mash. Drink more whiskey. Check out
Responsibly.
yes, of course. Check out the Redwood Empire Lost
Yeah.
Monarch Cask Strength. This is a delicious one.
It is a delicious blend.
And we'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Metal and Mash.
Peace out.